What's going on, bodybuilding fans? The 2025 Mr. Olympia is less than a week away, and this is my predictions video. Here is the official lineup. There are 20 names listed here. However, Rafael Brandao is sitting out this year to focus on improving for next year. So 19 guys, and there's a bunch of guys who've qualified for their first Olympia this year, which is going to be very exciting. But for the purposes of my video, I will only be going over my top 10. In 10th place, I have William Bonac. William qualified by winning this year's Detroit Pro. He's also competed a bunch of times. He competed at the Arnold, where he took 5th place. And he's always been very consistent. He's a little bit downsized from what we've seen in the past. You know, his right arm is a little atrophied, and his back is narrow, but he's always very consistent and will probably be good enough for 10th place. In 9th place, I have Brandon Curry. Brandon took 9th at last year's Olympia. He also took 4th at this year's Arnold Classic. He is a former Mr. Olympia, as we know, qualified for life, so we only see him compete, once or twice a year. He is getting older, but he still looks pretty good. He has good shape, great symmetry, small waist, wide shoulders. Just never gets really shredded, but I think his shape will be good enough for 9th place. In 8th place, making his Olympia debut, I have Good Vito. Good Vito qualified by winning this year's Arnold Brazil. He's a wide guy. He has wide shoulders, flaring quads, comes in with good conditioning. Not the most pleasing physique, I guess you would say, but kind of a freak. And I think he will shock a lot of people as long as he can bring in the conditioning. I think he'll be taking 8th place. In 7th place, I have Martin Fitzwater. Martin qualified by winning last year's Prague Pro. He also took 3rd at this year's Pittsburgh Pro behind Derek Lunsford and Nick Walker. He also took 4th at last year's Olympia. Now, Martin, to me, has one of those physiques that, unless he's really in really good condition, nothing really pops. So if he can bring in the same type of conditioning that he did at last year's Olympia, I think he'll have a good showing. It's just that I think there's a lot of great guys this year that are going to be placing ahead of him. Now we get into the top 6. In 6th place, I have Andrew Jacked. Andrew took 5th at last year's Olympia and 3rd at this year's Arnold Classic. He also qualified by winning the FIBO Pro this year. He always comes in very consistent as far as show to show. Never comes in super ripped, but he has great shape. He's the tallest guy on stage. I don't know what else I can say, but if he's ever to come in shredded, with a shredded lower back, shredded glutes, he will win Mr. Olympia. In 5th place, I have Behruz Tabani. Behruz qualified by winning the Dubai Pro. He has qualified for the last, 2-3 years, but was never able to get a visa. Finally, he's able to get a visa to come into the United States and compete at the Olympia this year. And I think a lot of people are going to be impressed because we haven't seen him on any stage in the United States, but we will finally, and I think he's going to impress a lot of people. I have him in my top 5, and I wouldn't be surprised if he places higher, but we just don't know how everyone's going to be looking the day of the show. Okay, the top 4, I think all the places could be mixed up and no one would complain. But I have to put someone in 4th place, so I have Derek in 4th. Now, Derek won this year's Arnold Classic. He also won this year's Pittsburgh Pro. He also won the Olympia in 2023. And he wanted to win the Arnold, the Pittsburgh, and the Olympia all in the same year, which I think is pretty difficult considering he's peaking, a bunch of times in the same year. There's other guys also competing in many shows this year, but I don't think he's going to come in the super razor sharp conditioning that he needs to in order to win the show. In 3rd place, I have Nick Walker. Now, Nick qualified by winning this year's New York Pro. He also took 2nd behind Derek at this year's Pittsburgh Pro. And the last time we've seen him on Olympia stage was 2023, where he took 3rd place behind Hadi and Derek. I think Nick's going to be very much improved over what we've seen from him earlier this year. And I think he's going to actually be placing higher than Derek. In second place, I have Samson Dauda, who won Mr. Olympia last year, and he took second behind Derek at this year's Arnold Classic. Now, why do I have him in second versus winning it again? Well, like I've said in previous videos, I don't think there's ever going to be another repeat winner of Mr. Olympia like 2 years in a row like we had in the past, where people won for years in a row. The last time we've seen that was Big Ramy. But, I could be wrong. He could win it, but I think Hadi did not compete at all since last year's Olympia, so he had 1 full year to prep for this show, whereas Derek, Nick, and Samson have also competed this year, so I think that gives Hadi an advantage. And my prediction for first place is Hadi Chupan. Now, like I said earlier, Hadi hasn't competed since last year's Olympia, so he had 1 full year to prep and peak. He always comes in consistent, grainy, razor sharp conditioning from the front, not so much from the back, but probably good enough to win. I think, he has the best striations in his inner chest, best abs and thighs, even better than Andrew Jack, if you ask me. We always know that he's going to come in great shape and great conditioning, so I think he will win. But if he doesn't, I'm not going to be surprised. It could be any of the top 3 or 4. Either way, it's going to be a great show. Put some comments below. Who do you think is going to win? Who's in your top 6 or top 10? Who might be a dark horse of the show? And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.